So it's a new year. Maybe you've been reflecting on this past year and how it maybe didn't go the way you had expected or planned or hoped for. Maybe you're thrilled with how it went. Maybe you're disappointed. Maybe you're confused. Maybe you're lost. Maybe you're hopeful for this next year. And maybe you've even given some thought as to how you want this next year to look. So you have these visions of this new life, a new you, maybe a new career, a new relationship, new habits, new routines, new accomplishments. And you're thinking out with the old, in with the new. But I wanted to make this video for you. If somewhere inside you, something is calling bullshit to this new life that you've been planning for yourself, these new goals, this new blueprint that you've laid out before yourself with all kinds of new habits and routines and things you should and should not do. I wanted to make this video because I have a sneaking suspicion that it might not be yours, this blueprint that you're looking at. You may have laid out this entire plan and it is someone else's milestones. It's someone else's dreams. It's someone else's vision of what they think is perfection or an accomplished life. It is a costume that you're thinking about putting on. And I want to offer something different. I want to offer the possibility that you actually want something else entirely, or at the very least, it is not there on that blueprint. I want to offer the fact that this whole life is an experiment that you get to create for yourself, that you do not have to borrow someone else's or try to impose it upon yourself. It seems very exciting when we are making our vision boards or drawing up these new goals and we get this huge dopamine hit from doing all those things. But once that's gone, I'm interested in what's left. Once you fuck up these new habits, this new routine that you've dreamt up, and once you're left feeling the same way maybe you felt other years when you tried the same thing, when you told yourself you should do those same things to be this new you, to have this new life, and it didn't fucking work. I'm interested in asking ourselves why. Why do these new habits and routines always fall short? And why are they not sustainable? The simplest answer is they're not yours. They're not yours to have. They're not yours to uphold. Like, you can release them. You can relinquish this whole plan that you've laid out before you. If you feel like maybe it's not yours, maybe it's not for you, maybe it's not what you actually want. So, one of the things that I think is really helpful here is to ask yourself, is it that you think you should do these things? Or do you have this deep pull within you to do them? Is it that you've told yourself when every new year rolls around that you should do these same things, but you end up not being able to sustain them in the end? If that's the case, then we need to do a little excavating here. Why have you come up short time and time again? Why does it feel like shit to try to reach these milestones? And you can ask yourself, is it because I don't think these are actually my goals, my milestones, my dreams, what I truly want? And if the answer is yes, the next question should be, what do I want? And to get to that answer, we need to try something entirely different. We need to throw out the blueprint that you painstakingly drew out using someone else's blueprint as your guide. We need to stop. We need to listen. Something as simple as taking one of the goals that you've created for yourself that you've failed at many times and ask yourself, did I like doing that habit? What of it did I enjoy? What of it fucking sucked? What did I hate? What did I dread every single time I went to try to do this new habit every day? If that's what you're feeling, if you've been dreading that thing, if you hate it while you're doing it, you're never going to sustain it. So toss it out. And instead of getting down on yourself for giving it up, get excited about creating a new goal, a new habit that is actually going to serve what you truly want. This is a creative creative act, this life, and you get to design it for yourself. But if you're too busy borrowing other people's designs or maps or blueprints, this whole life is going to feel empty or borrowed at best. So let's take wellness, health, strength, fitness. Let's take that arena that so many of us try and fail all the time to improve in our lives. So, for example, if you've been telling yourself you should go to the gym, every time you're getting ready to go to the gym, you fucking hate it. You're dreading the whole thing. Every time you get to the gym, you fucking hate it. It is painstaking the whole way through. Use this as information, not as a signifier of failure. It is really useful information. So we need to excavate. Now it's time to ask yourself, why do I want to be healthy and strong to begin with? Sit with yourself and listen. Listen to what your voice actually comes up with. Why do I want to be healthy and strong? Maybe what comes up for you is, I want to feel at home in my body. That is really good shit. It's information for you to find and start mapping out the path for you to actually find a sustainable way to cultivate that for yourself. So next you can ask, what do I love doing that makes me feel good inside of my skin? And maybe that's something like dance. Maybe you love to dance. So maybe you look up some dance classes in your neighborhood or online that you can do at home. This is the way we're going to get closer to drawing up our own blueprint. Okay. And that's just one example. I think the other issue with setting these huge goals for the year is we're forgetting the fact that this whole thing is an experiment. So maybe you try that one dance class for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month, and you listen to how you feel inside of it. Is the way that it challenges you enlivening, energizing, humbling, all of those things that are good for you and that will drive you to continue to get better at that class with that specific kind of dance? Or do you end up dreading going to that class again every time? And do you hate the technique that it's teaching you every time? That's good shit. That's good information again. So you look into finding a different class, a different teacher maybe, who brings a different approach. And you keep doing this. You iterate. You experiment. You use the information that we are told is failure. You use it as a gift that is given to you so that you can continue to design your own life in a way that's sustainable and fulfilling for you. So instead of trying on all these different costumes of other people's lives, you start sewing your own that actually fits you, that actually has the colors and the textures and the patterns that you love. So instead of asking yourself, what should I do? You ask yourself things like, what have I always yearned to try? You ask yourself, what are the things that light me up in this world? Those are the guides that are going to lead us to that life that you will actually enjoy, that you will actually find fulfilling and purposeful. So take those desires, those deeply rooted things that drive you, that inspire you, that you love, and create little experiments with them. It won't be picture perfect, but it will be yours. You don't have to follow in the footsteps of someone else's finished product. You can write your own living draft and continue to create your life. So when you feel the shoulds coming on, excavate first, listen to what's yours, and design your own experiments from that voice. And then iterate as you go. And let me know how it's going. I'd love to hear. Happy New Year.